Has Bashar ever talked about the Ark of the Covenant, and what that is?
He has very briefly when asked about it. He did basically say it's an energetic, it's a capacitor for energy. It's a communication device that the humans were given to communicate with the ETs. Oh. And that it actually is a capacitor that stores energy that can be siphoned off for different purposes. Again, there was, I think, misuse that happened with it. And therefore it was probably sequestered away somewhere.
And there's more than one? I mean, the stories I've heard,
there may be more than one. There may be more than one. Just like there may be more than one Noah's Ark, because there are flood legends all over the world, and every culture except the South Sea Islanders have a legend where somebody, a whole bunch of people arrived in some kind of a boat after the flood and settled.
Do they call it a ship or do they call it a boat?
They usually,
that might be coming from outer space.
Yeah, no, they usually talk about it as if it was something riding on the waters.
Okay.
But Bashar ties this into the destruction of Atlantis, and saying that basically that was caused by a cometary impact in the Atlantic Ocean, which caused huge tsunamis and tidal waves and wiped out the rest of Atlantis and flooded into North, Central, South America, Europe, and Africa. And that's where you get all of the flood stories coming from, and all the survivors are all coming. In other words, the survivor stories in the Americas is that the survivors came from the East. The survivor stories in Europe and Africa are that the survivors came from the West. So what's in the middle? The Atlantic Ocean. So if they all spread out from the Atlantic Ocean, I think that what we're getting is different stories that all tell of one catastrophe that caused this massive flooding to happen.
ETs have any control over sort of these geological sort of things that happen?
Yes,
things in the universe?
They can. I don't know that they always will, because again, they have a very strong non-interference directive about
What is it? Is it specifically outlined, exactly what they can and can't do?
I only know a little bit of that. Mostly it's a hands-off policy. Okay. No matter what we do to ourselves, with one exception that Bashar has said. We will never be allowed to have global thermonuclear war, because it would impact other dimensions. The release of energy would be so great, it would impact and tear through other dimensions, and that's not allowed. So he said they will prevent that. If we want to use small tactical nukes, I don't know that they'll stop that. So hopefully we won't do that.
So we could extinct ourselves
slowly,
without totally ruining the universe.
Right,
in all the dimensions.
Yeah, exactly. They won't allow something that doesn't stay in our backyard, essentially.
Right.
And I think they've actually demonstrated that many times, because there are many reports that have been verified of UFOs hovering over missile silos and erasing the launch codes or scrambling them. I think as a demonstration of, you will not be allowed to do this. So that's already been shown over and over again in different countries that have nuclear weapons. So I feel pretty confident that he's right about that. But of course, the fact that we want to have wars and kill each other, they can't stop that. The only thing they can do is give us information that can teach us how to stop it, but we have to be the ones to implement it, because they can't interfere with our culture.
Has Bashar ever talked about Area 51 before?
He has.
And what it is?
It's pretty much what people think it is. They do have, or did have, retrieved crashed UFO material and bodies. I can say with absolute 100% certainty that UFOs exist, because I've seen them physically. In terms of the whole Roswell story, I can say 99.9% because I didn't see it myself, but there are so many witnesses, including a member of my own family.
Oh, wow.
That one day we were having dinner with my wife's aunt and uncle, and he was an airline pilot. And so, you know, we asked the logical question, you're flying around all the time.
What have you seen?
Have you seen stuff, right? He said, no, I've never seen a UFO. And okay, and he went, but during the war, I was stationed at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. And my son got to know the son of the flight surgeon at the base. And so I got to know the flight surgeon. And he said, and the flight surgeon did tell me he saw the alien bodies that they brought through. So that was unexpected. And that comes from a member of our own family.
Right.
So if we're getting information from that kind of a source, that this is something real, and all the other eyewitnesses and all that other stuff, 99.9%, that's a real story. Yes, it's a conspiracy, because obviously people are trying to cover it up.
We just need to change that word.
I know.
These are just like stories.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a CIA invented word.
Yeah, I mean, it just means breathing together, conspiring, conspiracy. Anyone that's breathing together and keeping something a secret is conspiring.
Yeah, let's break that down, because I'm still upset that I have to let go of conspiracies according to what's required
You don't have to let go of knowing that there are conspiracies. He's just suggesting that we don't get caught up in following a lot of conspiracy theories, because we don't really know what's true.
Right. Okay.
And some of them contradict each other, right? So, like, for instance, many people believe we never went to the moon. Many other people say, well, the astronauts saw alien crafts on the moon when they went there.
Right.
Which one are you going to choose?
It's true.
Did we go or didn't we go? Now, Bashar says we went.
Okay.
So.
That's right. I think we might have talked about that one before.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
Maybe.
What does Bashar say about going to the moon?
Oh, he says we went. We went to the moon, and now we're going back.
Why did we stop going, and why are we going back?
Well, okay, I'm going to just touch lightly on the conspiracy issue. I think we stopped going because we saw that there were alien bases there and alien crafts there, and we didn't want the public to know that. But I don't know that for a fact. I'm just quoting the theory. See, that's the thing. I wish more people involved in conspiracy theories would say, I don't know that for a fact.
Right.
I'm just quoting the story. That way, at least you're giving the possibility that it may or may not be true until we have more facts, until we do more research. And here's the proof, you know.
I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that said it when I interviewed him a while back, about the moon becoming essentially like a higher ground base. Like higher ground is always going to give you an advantage. And so.
Yes, from a military point of view, that's true. From a scientific point of view, it's easier to launch from the moon because there's less gravity and no air as a base to go to Mars. So there are different ways of looking at how the moon has advantages to it by having bases there. Now, Bashar did say there are ET bases on the moon.
Has Bashar ever talked about whether or not the moon is real in a sense that it's a rock or that it's an actual built base?
No, he said it is a natural body, but it has been altered somewhat. It's definitely been altered or engineered below the surface to do certain things with its relationship to its orbit to Earth to make it stable. But it is a natural body that was there, and it's been sort of retrofitted.